Hey, how's it going? I just want to do a quick video on this Reddit post. It'll highlight kind of a couple issues with our current economy. So the title is Recent Mechanical Engineering Grad Looking for Work. I have been out of school for almost 7 months. I have been on every job board and networking event that's come up. I haven't been having any luck. I am currently working a 6-month summer job, but still need full-time employment. I really don't want to go back to school for another degree. It's looking like what I have to do. So this, to me, is the thing that sort of stood out, is that this is sort of the cycle that people are getting in, where they'll graduate with any kind of degree, not necessarily an engineering degree, go through a time period like this one, and 7 months is a pretty prolonged time to not really have any sort of serious interviews or offers or anything like that. And then they'll think that they need to go back to school, and I'm not saying it's always a bad move or whatever, but kind of doubling down and literally doubling possibly like debt and all that kind of stuff, to me, just sinks individuals like this possibly deeper and deeper, and then so that's, I just wanted to highlight that. That's one major sort of issue in our system, is that the conventional wisdom is just the person needs more and more education. That's the reason that they're not getting interviews and jobs. So reading on, I'm really starting to feel like I did something wrong because I have the grades, leadership skills, and internships. I don't know what's going on. I know I can rock an interview and my resume is good because I have been to several career services events and even had it professionally done. I'm not even getting to the callback. Any advice for me? I've really been feeling like a failure and like I wasted my time getting this degree. And then someone's like, do you have an ethnic minority name? Not quite sure where that person's getting at with that, but this reply is interesting and useful in my opinion. I've seen quite a few data science jobs that call for mech eng degrees. That's kind of a hot field right now, so maybe look into that if you haven't already. That being said, don't be too hard on yourself. There are a lot of good people in your shoes. People with Oxford master's degrees have had similar posts here, and I've done a video on that one. When intelligent, skilled people with solid work ethic have trouble finding work, it means the system is broken. It sounds like you have done all you can. Hell, it sounds like you're the poster child of making all the right choices. STEM degree, internships, networking. You've done your part. Employers need to pull their heads out and recognize what you have to offer. And then another person writes, hey, you're describing the same situation I am right now. I graduated a month ago and had not really gotten any callbacks from employers. I live in a major metropolitan city, so I thought I would have no trouble finding a job. Yet here I am striking out with no luck at all. So it's kind of obvious I just posted something on Deutsche Bank that there's more layoffs than hiring going on. And the hiring, in my opinion, and Dave from X22 Report mentions this a lot, that those job recs are put in there just as almost like window dressing. Like they're not real jobs. Like they're just putting it out there. Maybe they've gotten the approval, or they're just looking for the quote unquote unicorn candidate. But the problem is the person that they're hiring will be very, very strategic. And I've done 2 videos recently on my journey through corporate America. And then the hiring process is not like the best candidate. Like one would think an individual like this would rise to the top, the poster for this Reddit post, and be the quote best candidate. But the way the system is now, especially with so many layoffs, people are looking for a particular type of candidate, and a lot of times the candidate that they want is not the best student. And this will sound ridiculous, but it's kind of becoming obvious now to me and a lot of people that they're going to want to hire engineers and stuff who maybe are not superstars, rock stars, because they don't necessarily need, this is not 100% of the time, but I would think actually quite often that the hiring manager will want to hire somebody who, they'll need to sort of start from scratch, and not like come in and feel like they're going to kind of take over the group and impact the job security of the person doing the hiring. And so, it's a very, very strange system, but in general, just it's obvious just from the headlines that companies are laying off, and not just like small layoffs. They're huge. Like Deutsche Bank announcing that they're going to lay off 20,000 employees in the relatively near future, with a company that has only 90,000 employees. I mean, that's a massive cut. And then the remaining 70,000, let's say, people that are left, they're not exactly going to feel comfortable in their job. And it's not like Deutsche Bank is just going to all of a sudden do those cuts and then bounce back and then everything's going to be hunky-dory. It's a process of contraction that's happening worldwide. And companies, again, are required to be profit focused. That's why this whole system is completely evil, is that the stock market is not just even public companies, even private ones who have banks, breathing down their neck, are required to constantly produce significant returns. And so if people are spending less, and that's obvious, and that's happening everywhere because people are just seeing scarcity of resources and the cost of living is going up. And so, all these profits will be harder to attain by these companies, and they have to naturally, lay people off, and also spend less on CapEx or capital expenditures. And that spend has been going down recently as well, if you follow, the news, economic news and stuff. So there's definitely a contraction. And then the only thing, I'm about to post for this individual and just echo what the other person posted is the system's broken. Just don't blame don't be too hard on yourself, is what this person says. There are a lot of good people in your shoes. People with master's degrees from Oxford have had similar posts here. And so the system is indeed broken. It's obvious. And to me, it won't get fixed just because not enough people are stating the obvious, that it's broken. And so, like I've said many, many times, that the Bible says that Babylon will not be healed. And I believe America is Babylon, and it will not. It's just the way it is, and I feel bad for this mechanical engineering grad and others like them, who just have all this energy and enthusiasm out of school, and they want to apply the things that they've learned over the last 4 years, but there's no work, and and there's not many people hiring, and if they do hire, it's likely at a fairly low wage because the person who's interviewing and potentially accepting the offer has very, very little leverage, because like this person, they might have been out of work for 6 or 7 months, which is a long time. So they pretty much have to take any kind of lowball offer from the first person, even if the job is not a good fit for them. And someone like this who maybe doesn't go back to school, may have to drive Uber and Lyft for a little while or a long while. And then that just becomes sort of demoralizing as well. And I've seen that. I was in a Lyft maybe a year or so ago for an individual who graduated with an engineering degree from a good school, and they were just doing that to sort of fill in the gaps. And so I actually added that guy on LinkedIn, and just in case I could help in any way. And I noticed that he did end up getting a role here in Houston in engineering. So, I'm not saying that there are absolutely no jobs and there's completely hopeless, but taking, 6 months to a year to find a job is extremely discouraging, because it just means that obviously a person will go in there and have to put up with absolutely all types of conditions, no matter what, because they know that if they re-enter the job, the job candidate pool, and look for another role, it's going to be very unlikely that they'll get one soon, or even if at all. And so it kind of removes the possibility that a toxic job environment can be improved, or you can switch to something more palatable. But that's the kind of system. It sort of is reinforcing itself to be this way, and I would say it's less gradual now that it's getting worse. It's becoming more and more obvious, and there's stories like this are very, very common on Reddit. If you look at another recent one that was posted, it was even I believe it was someone in the military. And so this post caught my eye too. Can't get an interview anywhere. MS, Master of Science, and military background. Hello, I was hoping for some advice. I simply can't get an interview from any job, even Starbucks. I have a master's in computer science, decent GPA, and I'm an active U.S. Air Force reservist with security clearance. I've been out of work for several years, except when working on military orders a couple months a year, taking care of my ill father, and not sure what to do. I've had my resume professionally worked through, but nothing. If anyone has advice, I would appreciate it. I feel hopeless. So all these government shills that are on, all these debate forums and all that, who just think that the government is always blowing kisses to government workers and all that. It's a struggle for everybody. We cannot escape a system that is designed to fail. And so I think all these shills are going to find out that Daddy DARPA and Mama YouTube and just Daddy government are not going to keep blowing kisses to everyone forever, and so I feel bad for these people, because, all I can do really is offer to look over their resume or offer any advice. I like the last poster's reply. He kind of balanced it with don't blame yourself, and then offered, a path to look into data science jobs and stuff. So that's really all we can do. People who kind of go on these boards and try and encourage people and let them know, again, do not blame yourself. The system is broken, and in my opinion, broken beyond repair. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye.